Hi, and welcome back. It's a summer series. It's day 30, and it's brought to you by Inspiring Workplaces in partnership with H&H. It's me again. It's Ruth Dance, and I'm your host, and I will be seeing you through for the final 3 days. That's it. We are in the final 3 days of the summer series. We have delivered you so far 6 weeks, every day of live learning and case studies and amazing inspiration from all over the world to help you create and live inspiring workplaces. And to kick us off for week 7, the final week of the summer series, we're bringing you not one, but 2 speakers. And I'm really excited. I've just met them backstage and there's definitely a lot of energy. So no pressure to our 2 speakers. So we have Paul de Lusignan, who is the Director of Bikes, Boats and Quads at Suzuki GP, and Freddie Guilmard, who is the Managing Director and Business Simplifier. Now that sounds like a cool title, at the Red Thread Partnership. And they're going to be talking to us about how Suzuki GB's Bikes, Boats and Quads team transformed itself from an underperforming division to a team that is now the most highly engaged in the business. And they are on a journey to high performance. And they did all of that in the midst of the pandemic. I'm also really delighted to say that they're a finalist in the Inspiring Workplaces Awards in the Europe and Middle East and Asia and Africa division. So Freddie and Paul, welcome to the stage.
Thank you very much, Ruth.
Hello.
Lovely to meet
Good
you.
afternoon.
Hi. I felt the pressure to pronounce your names right and to get all of those amazing titles.
Well.
I was like boats, quads, planes. I was definitely going to get some wheels wrong somewhere. So I'm really excited. I know that you've got 17 minutes of awesomeness to share with us. Not that they've rehearsed it or anything. So I know you're going to be sharing some slides with us today. So I'll hand over the mics to both of you.
Thank you very much, Ruth. Let's see if we can get the slides up on the screen. And it's coming through now. So, well, good afternoon, everyone. As Ruth said, my name is Paul de Lusignan, and I'm proud to be the leader of Suzuki's BBQ division in the UK. And let's just see if we get the slides coming through. Let's just wait for those to come up and catch up with us. I'm sure they'll be with us in a moment. There we go. There we go. So today, along with Freddie, I'm going to tell you how this team transformed itself from the lowest performing team in our annual engagement survey to a team that has really gone above and beyond and is now the most highly engaged team in our company, from missing most of our sales targets to hitting them all of this achieved in the midst of a global pandemic. And this is the story of Suzuki's team BBQ. In 2019, I inherited a larger team comprising of people working across 3 product divisions: motorcycles, marine engines and ATVs. And I quickly discovered that all was not well. What I found at the core was a complete lack of trust. Managers weren't working together, teams weren't working together, and there was no clear direction and targets were being missed. In our company engagement survey, the 3 teams of motorcycles, ATV and marine scored the lowest engagement across the whole company. Well, what did this feel like? Well, this is what our head of HR said. The team were fragmented, survey results were poor. There was friction in the team, no leadership, and HR concerns were being raised by employees daily. And one of our experienced sales managers said, team members left. An unhealthy atmosphere with no trust or respect prevailed. It was unpleasant, dysfunctional, not fun and unrewarding. I can tell you from my personal experience that it often felt like being in the midst of a civil war. I knew there needed to be some immediate and significant changes across the team if we were to survive and thrive. But my goal was clear. We had to realign the team with our company values and build ourselves into a well-respected, high-performing team. Now, I already knew Freddie Guilmard of the Red Thread, as we'd worked together when creating the company values a few years previously. Freddie, perhaps you could pick up the story from here.
Of course, thank you, Paul. And hello, everybody, wherever you are in the world. So the challenge of any leader wanting to change their team's performance is patience. I knew straight away that Paul was serious, as he didn't buckle when I told him this could take as long as 18 months. I was also really impressed with the passion and the desire to change from the managers and the stakeholders I met as part of the discovery process. There was no doubt everyone cared enormously about wanting to change and wanting the division to start performing as it should. In listening to the managers' hopes and fears, it also became very clear that they saw themselves as second-class citizens in the business. And there was really clearly some work to be done to build back belief and pride. Now, in the initial few weeks, we spent a considerable amount of time getting to know each other better, building trust amongst each other by having real and authentic conversations. We talked about our feelings, even if at the beginning this felt really weird. We shared what would make us proud, what would get us excited to come to work, and what we wanted to be famous for. We started to create a vision of the future. We talked about what we wanted our teams to say about us, how our customers would describe working with us, and what this would feel like, and how we could become great role models for the rest of the business, really clearly from second class to first class citizen. Over the following months, we met regularly off-site, and we continued to refine every aspect of the process to create the first version of our vision and our strategic ambition on the page. We spent time understanding how we got to this point in our journey, and we started exploring what becoming a high-performing team meant for each of us and as a group. And then, Paul.
Thanks, Freddie. We were still at this early stage of this journey, and then the pandemic hit. Our team workshops and other planned activities were now in jeopardy. Our entire business relies upon our nationwide network of dealers to sell our products, and now they were closed too. This was an existential threat, and it would have been understandable to postpone our workshops until things blew over. But I quickly decided that this was in fact a great opportunity. In amongst our daily operational meetings, we changed our monthly workshops to shorter weekly online sessions. Through this, we ensured that we kept up the forward momentum. The whole leadership team were determined to use this enforced separation to invest and ensure we came back stronger and healthier. And during this time, we completed our vision statement, created a document outlining our purpose and ambitions, and developed a set of golden rules to hold us to account for our behaviour. We also created thank you cards. We used them to ensure recognition across the team and even the wider company. These have been a great success and are often commented by the team by our colleagues inside and out. At the same time, we created Friday socials for the whole team. This is our way of staying connected, but little did we realise that these would in fact improve our team connections, culture and trust for the first time as the whole of the division, including the field staff, were easily able to join in. Previously, some team members didn't really know each other, but after only a few weeks, suddenly everyone knows each other's favourite movie, worst holiday, fancy dresses, and terrible jokes. But overall, we had a lot of fun. Now, I'd like to go back to our ambitions document. The first thing we'd agreed as a leadership team had been that we will be recognised as a great division in the company engagement survey. But in fact, the survey only happens once a year. We couldn't afford to wait a year to find out if we got it right or not. We needed to know on a regular and frequent basis. After some research, a team member discovered Office Vibe, a tool to create a weekly pulse survey. After some testing across the leadership team, we launched this to the whole of the division, and suddenly we had a daily view of how our team were feeling. Another challenge was that in our new vision, we clearly state that we are a united team, but we didn't even have a consistent divisional name to support that ideal. Collectively, we decided to develop a new identity for Motorcycle, ATV and Marine, changing our name to Bikes, Boats and Quads, or BBQ for short. Easier to say and with a simple double entendre linking to our outdoor fun and creating energy and excitement in our team. Freddie.
So now it was time to launch Team BBQ to the whole of the team and the company. We were still all working at home and still quite new to Zoom, but we did it and it was amazing. Prior to the event, we sent everyone a personal invitation, which included the event agenda, a snack, drink, and a new Team BBQ mouse mat and ambition document. The event was presented by every member of the leadership team, so they each own an aspect of the strategy and the journey. It was also absolutely critical to have the opportunity for everyone to have the opportunity to challenge and ask the leadership team any question they wanted to, and for the team to feel confident about responding. The Q&A section did just that and helped build further trust and confidence in the ability of the leadership team to lead the change. We also got everyone involved to test the values and co-create ideas on how to bring these values to life in the division. Individuals self-selected to participate in follow-up meetings to ensure these ideas came into fruition. Feedback from the team was really, really positive. And the same day, our new name started to take hold. Now, interestingly, when Paul launched to the overall company a few days later, there was quite a lot of surprise and quite a lot of few raised eyebrows. Why on earth are they doing this while this pandemic is going on? But this is where the team themselves really started to take ownership. The sense of courage and pride started to grow. And the real feeling that we were indeed one team was palpable across the division. Paul.
After lockdown 1, we were able to start a phased return to the office. The team came up with the idea of making it feel special on the day and quite different. We created a set of posters that showed our full product range and our team ambitions and golden rules, and a few of the team volunteered to go in over the weekend and put up balloons, packs of popcorn on the desks and have a good tidy up. When we arrived on Monday, it was clear to everybody across the company that Team BBQ had arrived. Now, of course, we've all been in lockdown several times since then, but we haven't let this stop our journey. The team have taken their unwieldy job descriptions and rewritten them into clear job purposes with 5 priorities each, so everybody knows what it is they do. And we spotted in an office vibe that our wellness scores were low, and we discussed this as a team, and the result was a real focus on this area, with everyone encouraged to take regular breaks, get active and share what they're up to. And here is what we got up to. Our wellness, happiness and engagement scores increased as a result. We had great fun and some good laughs at people's activities. And our success hadn't gone unnoticed. Shortly afterwards, the board asked us to roll out Office Vibe to the whole company. So now over 150 Suzuki staff can start to benefit from weekly pulse surveys and a regular feedback mechanism.
Of course, change isn't complicated, it's just hard. Well, actually, right now it's probably complicated and hard both at the same time. But sustaining change is even harder. I am really so proud of what everyone has achieved so far at Team BBQ. This is now a highly engaged division led by managers who understand the importance of building trust and leading by example, aligned to a clear vision. But we must absolutely not rest on our laurels. Over the last few weeks, we have started the phase 2 of building a high-performing division, which we call Equip. The focus over the coming months will be to ensure that every BBQ team member will have the opportunity to go through their Myers-Briggs profiling as individual and within their own team, discuss and agree their personal development needs, and participate in learning interventions. The BBQ Ambition on a Page document has now been fully updated by the business to reflect the focus for 2021, and personal objectives are now aligned to the strategic priorities. The team are working on a plan to bring the values to life, and fun is definitely high on the agenda for 2021. Paul.
So now let's take a look at our results in numbers. We don't need statistics to tell us that the team's undergone a revolution. You can feel it in every day, in every meeting, every email, and in people's words, faces, and actions. But the numbers have helped guide us on this journey, and they continue to do so. Here's a few to demonstrate the impact that the team have made. We have 95 to 100% participation in our weekly Office Vibe Pulse survey. Trust with peers and managers are rated at 9.2 and 9.3. Recognition is 9 out of 10, and so is ambassadorship. Alignment is 8.7, and our overall engagement score has moved from 7.7 when we launched Office Vibe to 8.7 today. On the commercial side of our business, we smashed 10 out of our 11 targets last year, despite many of our dealers being closed for much of the pandemic. But it ain't over. We're not finished yet. We see this as just the first stage of our journey. But here's what's happened so far. We've made leaders accountable for their actions and their team's engagement. We created a vision and a set of ambitions for the team. We published our golden rules, making leaders accountable for our behaviour. We've empowered all of the team to actively participate and influence our engagement journey. We rebranded ourselves from 3 disjointed divisions into one united team. We've taken a team full of dysfunction and dissatisfaction from bottom of the league to the top. And we did all of this while working from home in the pandemic. We've embraced and continued to live with our company values, and we've created positive change across the whole company as a result of our actions. But finally, let's hear from the team themselves. I asked them to write one word that would show you how they feel about the team now. As well as building a great team, we've built a long-lasting legacy that will positively impact the rest of the organisation, and hopefully we've created an inspiring workplace as a result. I'm really proud of our bunch of superheroes. Thank you for taking the time to listen to us. And now back to Ruth, so if you've got any questions. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Freddie.
Hi.
Hi.
Wow, that was so fun. Like, it was so interesting.
Yes.
So colourful, so visual, so polished. You guys are great. You should present with us every day. Thank you. Not just the beautiful slides and the fun and the polishedness and the colourfulness. You made Suzuki GB bikes, boats, quads seem like a really, really fun place to work, and especially in a pandemic. Like, especially, not even or despite the pandemic, but especially in a pandemic. And I think you've done some incredible work. So congratulations, firstly, on that.
Thank you.
I really like that you moved to this kind of regular feedback, this consistent listening, rather than this like once a year, which is definitely traditional. Some people are just starting out on the once a year listening, which it can feel a bit crazy to think sometimes, right? I do have a question for you. And that is, did you encounter any skepticism or difficulties with maybe some non-adopters in making these changes, given what you talked about at the beginning before you made the changes?
We really did, Ruth. And the journey was not without its bumps along the way in terms of working out how to kind of move it forward. And I think the first step really was that we really got the engagement and the buy-in of the senior leadership team. Yeah. And that was really the first stage, because without that, it would have been impossible. You can't drive this on your own. You have to have the whole team engaged. So we started with the leadership team. And as Freddie said, we spent a lot of time building trust across the leadership team before we even started with the wider team. And that really meant that when we launched the programme, they could see that we all truly believed in it. And I think that helped to bring them along. But then in the wider company, who were not directly involved in the process, there definitely was scepticism. They were kind of looking, saying, well, we've just hit a pandemic. All of our dealerships are shut. We're not quite sure how we're going to run our business now in this situation. And you guys are doing this. But I think the truth there was we really believed that our success would come from getting the people bit right. And if we got the people bit right, everything else would work. And we just stuck with that belief. And I think that's what's kind of driven us through. I don't know, Freddie, if you want to add anything to that?
Well, I think you're absolutely right. The key, I think there's 2 elements. One is the alignment of the leadership team is critical. And then the second thing is also the ability to co-create the future together. So we needed to have the right balance between the two. The question about investing whilst in a pandemic was incredible when Paul and I had a conversation and say, oh my God, what are we going to do now? Because none of us, of course, knew there was so much going on. Is that Paul's determination to continue was incredible, and our agility to work together in terms of our managing the time, managing, how to do this, working virtually as well, having to realign everything was just fantastic in terms of collaboration and teamwork. And although some of the teams were a little bit daunted by, having to work differently as well, everybody, came on board. So that was brilliant.
That's great. That's really, really great. I think you're always going to have skeptics, right? And non-adopters, and your results spoke for themselves as well. I mean, 100% response rate. People were keen to get involved in some way, Sure. And starting with the leadership, that's so key. It's so key, because if your leaders aren't walking the walk, then you're going to really struggle then on, aren't you?
That's true.
So you talked a little bit about, the future, but, what's next coming out of the pandemic?
Well, I think there's kind of 2 things, really. I mean, regardless of what stage of the pandemic we are,
Yeah.
the kind of next bit of our journey really is making sure that we as leadership team and all of our team are equipped with all the right knowledge and skills we need to kind of run the business effectively. And that's really our next kind of step, is sort of understanding there where, if we've got any gaps, how we can help with those gaps, how we make sure we work really carefully, closely together, hence doing the kind of Myers-Briggs work to understand each other. So this kind of equip phase really is the next bit. And I mean, Freddie, perhaps you can talk a bit about that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and I think I've said it in the presentation. The first phase of the journey is to engage, and in some way, when people have a desire to change, it's reasonably exciting to do that, and aligning people, getting them motivated. The hard bit is what we've moved in for this year in particular, because this is about talent mapping. It's about really understanding how to manage resource. I mean, I've said it to Paul very often. Leaders have to do three things. They have to set the vision, allocate the resource, and create the culture. But that, when you've got to deliver every single day, when you've got to deliver the commercial team, and not seeing high performing as something we do, in the evenings or in the afternoon, and changing the way we do things every day, it's tough. So, from that point of view, there's still a lot to do. We've certainly, one of the key things was the evidence and the proof points. So you're absolutely right to pinpoint the results. The results gives confidence. The result continue to say to people, if you do the right thing, if you continue to behave and lead in a way which is aligned to the purpose, then, we'll continue to deliver the results. So Paul and the leadership team are under no illusion that our work continues to happen. We are in a high-performing mode for some of the things, but we continue to measure ourselves. We continue to grow. So yeah, it's exciting, but it's really hard as well at the same time.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. You make everything so appealing and colourful and exciting and fun, but you've got to have the results to show that, and you've got to have the right culture to fit with that. And we can make things fun and exciting, but without the results and the real culture change, then it's just surface. And I think you've demonstrated that so beautifully today. So thank you to Freddie, and thank you to Paul, and to all of the team. I think you've done incredible work. Good luck for the awards on Wednesday.
Thank you.
And hopefully, we never know, we'll get you back here again next year to talk about all the more work you've done and the great work you've done. So thank you again so much for joining us today for day 30 of the summer series.
Thank you for asking us.
Oh, you're very welcome. So tomorrow is day 31. It's the penultimate day. And we have Alan from Popular, who's going to be talking about the evolving world of hybrid work and what that means for communicators. So same time, same place. I'll probably be your host again tomorrow, and I'll see you there. And then on Wednesday, same time, same place. It is the final day of the summer series, and we're going to be bringing something a little bit different. I'll be hosting a panel debate. We have 4 incredible panelists from all around the world, and we're going to be discussing around creating inclusive cultures. It's certainly been high on people's agendas over the last couple of years, and even it just seems to be growing and increasing. But how do we create inclusive cultures? And what does that mean for our business? And what does that mean for creating inspiring workplaces? It's definitely not a panel debate to miss. So we've got 2 more days. Thank you again to Paul and Freddie talking to us about the case study from Suzuki GB. And I'll see you all again tomorrow. Thank you.